ahead and record this. This session is focused on Google Classroom. I want to welcome you today. The way I've approached this, rather than me getting into Google Classroom and clicking on this screen and that screen, which can get a little overwhelming, what I've done is I have created screenshots of each one of the screens that I'm going to talk about, and I'll show you kind of the workflow for things that way. Let me get into the chat, and I'm going to put, there it is. Okay, there's a link to today's slide deck, so if you want to look at this and refer back to it,
all right, thank you.
Have access to that, and it's that bit.ly. Okay.
All right.
Okay. My name is Deb Vale. I'm an instructional technology consultant with Heartland AEA, and our entire team is providing support, tech integration support across the Heartland area. And our boundaries in this remote learning kind of situation are fluid, so we're going to help out as needed. The objectives for our time today, what I'm going to quickly go through is how to create a class, how to assign work, how do you collect and grade those assignments, give and receive feedback, and then just kind of give you a sense of what is this organizational system, and then some links to a couple of other resources if you want to dig deeper. All of these bits here on this table of contents, if I click on create a class, it will take me to that slide in the presentation. So you can use that for navigation if you're looking for specific information. Okay, let's start by what is Google Classroom. First of all, it's free and it's a web-based platform. Because it's Google, it integrates nicely with all the G Suite tools, docs, slides, forms, all of that kind of thing. And this quote at the bottom of this slide comes from Google. And what I really see the beauty of Google Classroom being is that it does all of the organization in terms of creating folders, assignments, pushing things out. It's really kind of a nice tool for that. Okay, let's start with creating a class. First of all, to access Google Classroom, you have a couple of different paths that you can do. If you're logged into your Google account, you can click on the little waffle. And if you don't immediately see the Google Classroom icon, you may need to hit more. But you can access it by clicking on that inside this menu. Another option is classroom.google.com, and this format works for anything Google, mail.google.com, calendar.google.com. So that's kind of their convention for getting into Classroom, okay? And students are going to do this the same way. They will access it this way as well, teachers or students. Okay, so once you get there, I already have classes showing up that I've already created, so this first screen might look somewhat different. But on the Google Classroom landing page, you're going to click on this plus sign and create a class. For students, they're going to hit this plus sign and join a class. At least that's one way they can get there. Okay, so once you create that class, you give it a name. The next thing you may want to do is select a theme, or you can upload your own photo. And what they're talking about with the theme or the photo is you'll have a header, and they have a whole library of headers that you can choose from. So all you're going to do is click here and make some choices to affect the appearance. Okay, thought might be smart to go through quick navigation. So here I am in this particular class. There are 4 tabs for the teacher. Stream, which is where all the announcements will show up here. Classwork is going to be where all of the assignments live. People is going to be any co-teachers, students, everybody will be listed on this tab. Now, the teacher has this tab, students will not. Essentially, this is the grade book, okay? So I can use these 4 tabs for navigation. Also, top left-hand portion of your classroom screen, when you click this, you'll get this pop out. And you can navigate from class to class. You can go to calendar, which I'll go into more detail, but there are calendars associated with, there is one calendar associated with each class, so I can navigate that way. I can also choose a class, go from Intro to Google Classroom over to Heartland Resources. So that's just quickly how to navigate. Okay, so I've created this class. I've got it looking the way I want it to. It's time to invite students. And on that class landing page, right in the header, is a code that students can use to join. So they go to classroom.google.com and they put this in. That's one method for them to get in. Okay, and if I click this, if I'm doing this live, if I click this full screen icon here, this will show up much larger on the screen. Okay. All right, here's another way to invite students or teachers if you're having people co-teach with you. Remember, we talked about those 4 tabs. If I go to the People tab, I can add a co-teacher just by clicking here. I can add students by clicking here, and essentially I would email them and give them that, that code or a direct invitation. So they click on the link in the email invitation and get right in, okay? Okay, Google added this, gosh, a year or 2 ago. Parents want to be involved in what's going on in their kids' classrooms. So when I'm on that People tab, this is my list of students that are in the class. I can actually email guardians, okay? Now, it's important to know that the guardians never actually go into Google Classroom. What they get are regular emails about upcoming assignments, missing work, that kind of thing. And parents or guardians can choose how frequently they want updates, okay? Now, one thing to keep in mind, this is a student in the class. It's my home email. And because it is not a Google for Education account, I wouldn't have the option of including guardians from that student's account. They have to be logged in with their Google for Education account in order to include the folks, the guardians. Questions so far? We doing okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and chime in at any point. This is kind of informal, so okay. So we've got all our students in there. We've emailed the parents, gotten them on board. Now it's time to start assigning work and posting announcements. Okay, so here's that navigation screen again. We're on the Stream tab. Okay, and basically on the Stream tab, everything is going to show up. Any announcements that you create, assignments that you create. Essentially, this is just kind of a chronological posting of what's going on in the classroom, okay? Okay, we're still on that Stream tab. This is where I'm going to add announcements, okay? And you'll have to excuse me, I use lots of different Google Classroom screens, so don't let this different image kind of confuse you. All right, so at the top, or right below the header, all I have to do is click here to add an announcement, and it's super straightforward. That's all there is to it. You type it in and off you go. Okay, so now we've moved. We were on that Stream tab. We're now over to the Classwork tab, okay? And essentially all you do is click on the Create button, and when you do, you will get this list of options. So I can do an assignment, a quiz, a question, I can share materials. I can even reuse a post from, let's say I taught this very same class last year, I can reuse an assignment. I don't have to recreate it each year. Another thing too, a topic is really slick. It's been probably 2 or 3 years. Initially, when you created assignments, they all just dumped into this one big area, okay? There was no way to organize them. Essentially, a topic is, I think of it as kind of a folder. So maybe I have a math topic, I have a reading topic, and you can see them over here. And essentially, you can put these in these assignments when you assign them into these topics. So it's a little easier to navigate. And I thought I would create this quick video. It's a 3-minute video on, and it'll walk us through the process of creating an assignment.
Sure.
I may have to stop. Hang on just a second. I have got to make sure. Let's see. Go back to the share screen. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second here. I have to make sure that you get sound. There it is. Okay, share computer sound. Hold tight. Don't bear with me. Got the wrong screen up there. All right. Okay, let's try this again. And we will go with this one. Okay, so that walks you through how to create an assignment. I really think that Google has done a very nice job of making it pretty straightforward on the options that you have in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've created that assignment, and Google automatically pushes it out to students. Remember, it shows up immediately in that classwork tab, as well as on the announcement tab. It'll say, hey, Deb just posted an assignment in the stream as well. It will also show up on a Google Calendar. But let's say right now that students have created, or excuse me, have completed the assignment, and now it's time for me to collect and grade those assignments, okay? Again, I'm in the classwork tab, okay? And I just go to the assignment itself. Here's where the assignment is on the teacher's version of the classwork tab. I can see I have included a rubric, okay? And at a glance, this is kind of slick. It's been assigned to one person and one person has turned it in. So at a glance, you can see where students stand with that. Then if I go to view assignment, I want to make sure I've got my notes here. Oh, yeah, when I go to view assignment, this is the next screen that I come to, okay? This is the course. On this side of that view assignment, here's a list of all of the students, and I can enter in the scores here, okay? On this side of this screen, essentially, it shows me all of the work that students have done for that assignment. So I can see at a glance the status, it's been turned in, here's one that's missing, and I can go ahead and grade each one. I don't have to leave this. All I have to do is click on this and it will automatically take me to that student's work, okay? Oh, cool. Now, once I enter the grades, I do the scoring, I'm going to return it. Oops, I'm going to return it to students, okay? And they instantaneously, again, I'm not passing out any kind of papers. When I click that return button, it automatically goes back to them and they can see grades and comments and their score on the rubric or whatever the case might be, okay? I also, if you notice here, there are two tabs. I can go back to instructions and I'll be able to see, gosh, did I not write that up well? I'm not pleased with what I'm seeing. Go back and look at the instructions just by changing tabs, okay? Questions here, Michelle? Are you good so far?
Yeah, I'm good so far. I actually just have one quick question. You know, there's times when they have them, I don't know if that's, and maybe you're going to address it here, that there's times when they'll have them watch a clip.
Yep.
And that's part of the assignment. Does Google, does it link in there, or do you embed it into the assignment there, or how do they do that?
I'm going to go back. When I'm creating an assignment, no, I didn't do it there. Do you remember in that drop down? Let's see, let me go back, sorry.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Assign work and post it. In the assignment, must have been in the video, where you get to choose, is there support material? You can put in the document there, or a link there, or a link to the video, or whatever. So that would be right inside the video, or whatever resources can be right there in that assignment.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All right, so now I'm transitioning over. Right now I'm at the grades tab. Remember those four tabs at the top of your course. When I go to the grades tab, essentially this is the teacher's grade book, okay? I can see each one of the assignments across the top. It tells how many points it is, what the title of it is, what day it was due. And then on the left-hand side, I get the students in the class, really kind of like the class average. You can see at a glance who's missing what their scores are. So essentially, it's a grade book. Okay, so now let's look at it in a little bit more detail. You want to provide some feedback, okay? So I have, remember how I could click on that one student's assignment and go directly in? That's where I am right now. And if I choose suggesting, I can type right here in his document, and it's a suggestion, okay? It will have the suggestions right in there, and they can accept them or not. So it's easy to pinpoint where in the text you're making these suggestions. I would do that rather than edit their document directly. It's pretty slick.
Okay.
Another thing I like, I'm going to move this image out of the way here. If I click on this, I can add a comment from a comment bank. So let's say that for this writing assignment, I can type in a comment that says, gosh, I can see you're having that proper nouns are challenging for you. You might want to look at this website and come back and revise. And once I get this added to my comment bank, I don't have to recreate it each time. All I have to do is click on it and it drops it right in. So you can do this right while you're in the document. That comment bank is pretty darn slick.
Yeah.
Question?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
I like
okay.
that option.
Yeah. Oh, I think the more things we can automate, boy, it just really saves a lot of time. So much of the comments, so many of the comments that we make are repetitive. So why not create it once and reuse it? Okay, when I created that assignment, I could add a rubric. Okay, and that's one of the choices. I can pull a ready-made one in from Sheets. I can create one within Google Classroom. But this is the way it looks if you are using Classroom. Okay, here is the student's assignment. And right here with the assignment, it tells the student what the teacher is looking for. Accomplished, this is what it looks like. And oops, excuse me, it provides all of that information right there, which I think is important. Okay, so the rubric view for the teacher, so I'm looking at this student's work. Here's the student's work right here. And the rubric shows up here. I just click on what level they are with each one of the criteria. And so it makes grading really easy. For this one, I didn't do a point value within the rubric, so this isn't populating up here. It was, there was no point value assigned. Okay, when it is returned to the student then sees how they're rating on that rubric. So they get to look at that as well as comments when I return it to them. I talked about how seamless the organization was in Google Classroom. That really is one of the nice features of it. Okay. Do you remember when I clicked on this, I could go back and get a list of all my classes. That's where I am now. Okay, so all of the classes I'm teaching are showing up here. And if I want to go to the master folder for each class, all I do is click here. Google created the folder, and I'll show you the hierarchy and that kind of thing. I didn't have to name it. I didn't have to put things there. It creates this system and drops all the files in there. It's very, very slick. Okay, and as I said, that organization is automatic. In my drive, this is the teacher's drive, I've got a folder called Classroom. I didn't put it there, Google did, okay? When I click on that Classroom folder, I get this. These are all of the Google Classroom classes I've created, and Google creates these folders and nests them inside of this folder, okay? One folder for each class, okay? Inside any one class, these are the folders with all of the homework assignments. So this is an assignment. Everybody's work, all of the student work is Google puts it in there. I don't have to go find it. Now, I don't have to go back to Google Drive, remember it was all right there inside of Google Classroom. But if I want to go back, if I want to go find something, if, you know, whatever, this is the organizational system that Google sets up for each assignment, each class. It all works this way. Does that make sense?
It does. I like that.
I know.
That's nice.
Another nice thing is that Google automatically creates a calendar. Every time you create a course, you get a calendar and it will show up here. And you can turn it on or off if you don't want your teacher calendar, your Google calendar to be too cluttered. All you have to do is unclick it and it won't show up on there. Okay, but no, again, Google created this calendar and you can see the assignments right there on the calendar. Okay, student view. The student goes into that calendar. Remember, we could click on this, whether we're a teacher or a student. This is how we're going to access calendar. So we click on the 3 lines, choose calendar, and this is what it's going to look like for the student. They can choose just one class or all classes, okay? One thing I'm not wild about is it's only going to show you a week at a time. I wish it would show a month. I wish the student could control. But right here are all the assignments that are that have been assigned for the week. And all a student has to do is click on this and it takes them to the assignment. They don't have to go find the assignment. It's on their calendar. It's on that coursework tab, okay? Okay, couple of other things. I've kind of given you the 50,000 foot flyover, so there's lots more in there, but for just a quick intro, those are the highlights that I wanted to make sure I shared with you. If you want to dig deeper, Allison Keeler is a great Google Classroom, Google in general, but she has some great resources on Google Classroom. And I'm going to copy the link and put that in the chat. Anyway, and there are all kinds of folks that have got really good Google Classroom resources, all kinds of videos, and Matt Miller is another one that's got some really great resources. But here are a couple. And I'm also, the second one is Google Classroom's support site. They've got all kinds of help in there. And not only that, I'm going to get this out of the way. Not only that, they have a help center with frequently asked questions, yada, yada, but there's also a community. So you're not getting the information you need here. You're not finding it on the web. Check out the community, pose your question here. So another great resource. That's kind of what I've got for you. Questions, anything that you're wondering about, Michelle?
No, that was a great overview because I've never really taken the time to navigate in there, and now I'm going to play with it myself since it's,
Yep.
I didn't realize that that was a free platform that I could go and
Yep.
I'll just go ahead. I think it would be easier for me personally to understand it if I just went through it and set it up.
Yep.
And then if I'm coming into a classroom, then I can understand how to navigate.
I
It's
totally agree. Yep. Do you have a school email?
I do, but I probably don't right now this summer because just with everything that's going on, I doubt it.
Okay.
So that's because I could get in there, right? With
yes, but you're going to have a fully functioning if you're with an education account.
Got it. Okay.
But explore that and see what you think. Okay.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing what you're liking, then use your school account.
Okay. All right.
Also, these are the members of my team. And this is a kind of a generic email that goes out to all of us. So if you have a question, need additional support, I'd be happy to help you out, Michelle. Or if you use this email, it'll go out to everybody and we'll make sure somebody answers that question. So
great. Thank you.
All right. Well, you betcha. Best wishes with Google Classroom.
All right. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
You bet. Take
All right.
care.
Have a great day.
You
Thanks.
too.